All right, welcome back from the holidays. I'm your host, Ron Davies, and what I'd like to talk to you about in this podcast a little bit is when to fire customers. And over Christmas, well, I guess before Christmas, during that last bit of shopping frenzy, most of you folks that are in retail or some services as well, you get to witness some of the most horrific and inhumane shopping habits imaginable. And sometimes you need to fire the customer. That's the reality of it. So let's talk a little bit about, what are good reasons to fire a customer and how to do it the right way. Just getting peed off at somebody and yelling at them is not the right way to do it. But think about this. Most companies, most businesses wouldn't hold on to a bad business practice, right? You wouldn't keep repeating it if it was losing money. So why would you hold on to a bad, unprofitable customer? Sure, breaking up with your customer is hard to do, but sometimes it's the best thing. It's the best thing for your company. It's the best thing for your other customers and the overall experience. Many customers made sense at different points for businesses, but eventually, over time, some can become bad for business and not profitable and even quite toxic, and this can be damaging. On a larger scale, say in the corporate arena, right, the customer loyalty experts say that companies triage them. So the most loyal, highest potential customers get the attention from the company. And then, of course, the opposite is true. The least loyal, lowest potential customers might eliminate themselves from the relationship just in how the communications are done. So who do you fire? Which customers? Well, you don't want to fire them just because they're a challenge. You're going to have customers that are challenged. Challenges can be met. You can fix problems, but there are times to purge, right? To get rid of the bad customers. So here's a few situations. Actually, here's 7 situations when you want to consider ending a customer relationship. So when you have a customer that complains constantly about trivial matters and are problem prone, so they're consuming a lot of your bandwidth and energy to deal with trivial problems. That's one. Another one is if they're mean or abusive to you or your staff, you might want to consider it. And if they don't have the potential to give you more business. So if you have a customer that's just complaining, but they're never going to buy anything else and they're never going to refer you, then that's a good reason to let them go. Which leads to the next one, which is if they don't refer new business. Some places that doesn't apply because if you're not in a referral type business, right? You could argue that everybody is in a referral business because anyone that deals with you can share that with someone. If you have a customer that isn't profitable or is even causing you to lose money, and if you have a customer who suggests to you that you engage in or that they engage in unethical or questionable activities, and of course those that no longer fall into your business's mission or values. So you don't want to just ditch a long-standing customer or an old friend for that matter who suddenly doesn't fit the mold. But when you're deciding which customers to let go, consider the likelihood the situation could change. If it's likely to change and get better, don't give up on them just yet, especially if they've been with you for a while. But customers who present one or more than one of the issues that I just went through should be the first you refer elsewhere quickly and tactfully. And that's the key, is the tactfully part. So how do you fire a customer tactfully? Well, always be appreciative and responsive, right? You don't have to end the customer relationship on a sour note with everybody throwing ashtrays at each other, even if it's a sour situation. So you always want to thank them for at least trying your product or service or working with you or your employees, or thank them for experiencing your service at very least. It could be something as simple as saying, we really appreciate you giving us a try, and maybe, company X or business X is better equipped to help you. Something like that. Frame the situation really well. It's just like in sales. You guys low in sales to frame the situation. You don't want to say anything that could be considered a personal attack on this customer. You don't want to say something like, "We find you difficult to work with, ma'am," or "You always demand too much." So instead of doing that, frame it in a way that puts you at some fault by reminding them of, say, situations, especially documented situations, that led you to this moment. So, for instance, your request for ABC was outside the scope of what we offer, and you indicated that you wouldn't be satisfied if we couldn't do that. Or maybe you could say, you've contacted us after the last 5 shipments to say that you weren't satisfied with your first order. It seems we aren't doing a good enough job to keep you happy. So here are some of our competitors that you might consider. So you're referring them also to a solution, right? Always extend that goodwill. You can often end the toxic relationship more quickly if you do something that makes the person that you're firing feel like a winner. Everybody likes to walk away feeling like a winner. So it might be, you might refund them some fees or cancel the most recent invoice and say something like, you shouldn't have to pay for an experience that didn't make you happy, and that's why I'm going to issue you a refund for this past month. And they feel like they've won, not that you've cut them away. And of course, apologize. You are probably thinking in some cases they owe you an apology. That might be true, but you're the one that needs to be professional. So you'll end up on a much better note by apologizing to them. They'll be less likely to spread any sort of toxic conversation about your business. And always offer that alternative. So don't just turn them away. Give them, an X, Y, or Z other competitors that they might go to in order to fix that up. So those are kind of some tips on when you should be firing customers and how to do it. If you're not sure, you'd like any help at all, you can reach out to us. And I ask that you hit the like button and subscribe. And we're going to keep this stuff coming to you throughout 2020, which is coming up in just a few days. So that's it for today on how to fire customers, when and how to fire customers. Have a wonderful day. I'm your host, Ron Davies. Bye for now.